Another Democratic debate is in the history books. It had laughs, cringy moments, and of course some discussion of each candidate's ideals and the agendas. We wanted to ask our lovely fans of the Team Rising what questions they had about the big night. So let's go to our first question of the night from Vincent. What was your pick of the most cringeworthy answers and moments from the debate? I think that there's nothing that rivals There's nothing that rivals Kamala's Wizard of Oz joke about the small man. There was just so many elements that went into that. I think it was so horrible. Like I can't get over it.
Especially with the fact that the moderator is George Stephanopoulos.
Exactly.
Who is a person of small stature who picked up on that right away, as did everyone else. Yes, highly cringy.
Yeah.
I think Biden gave me two moments that I would say fall in that category. The one was his absolutely rambling, bizarre, slightly racist, incoherent answer about education and
that's getting a lot of attention today.
That ended up with him saying that essentially black parents needed to play record players for their kids. I mean, it was just like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
And then somehow transitioned that to Maduro. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. But the other one was when he went essentially full McCarthy on Bernie Sanders and said, well, for a socialist, you sure do have a lot of faith in corporations, which was just a sort of nasty, low blow that, again, sounded very much like, is this the Republican debate? Are you Donald Trump right now?
Yeah, it was interesting to see that. I think also what was really cringeworthy was just Pete Buttigieg just short-circuiting whenever he was faced with a tough challenge from Julian Castro. He literally was like, it was like his programming software to remain positive at all times, just like didn't have any script and didn't know what to do. It was terrible. I thought he looked like a complete joke.
Well, that was one of two short circuit moments from him. The other one was he had to go after Andrew Yang announces his freedom death dividend to 10 American families, and he just had no idea what to do with that.
Yeah, he's like, does not compute original idea. All right, let's go to the second question from WTF is going on. Nice username. How would you improve the primary debates? It feels like the Groundhog Day with the same ideas and arguments getting repeated for the fifth time. I actually couldn't agree more. I don't know, Krystal, what do you think about the format and the rules? I have a lot of my own suggestions. I'll hear yours first.
I had the same thought. I mean, I think Andrew Yang maybe put it best when he talked about how we're all up here, this was in the second debate, with makeup on, and part of the reason why we have a reality show president is because politics is a reality show. I mean, these networks all want to turn this into infotainment. You know, the whole setup was we're going to set Biden against Warren and they're going to be fireworks and they seize on these moments. And yeah, you know what? It is entertaining, but you have to balance that with the public actually learning something about these candidates and how they would perform as president. So I think it would be better, I'm not talking like the CNN 7 hours of climate crisis discussion, but if you had more debates that were sort of longer, candidates could give longer answers and were focused around certain issues, I think it would be more effective. For example, you know, it was pointed out, Michael Tracy, friend of the show, journalist, pointed out that there's been so little discussion of foreign affairs, which is the area where the president has the most unilateral authority. And we just still know next to nothing about how any of these candidates would perform in foreign policy. I mean, it's one reason why it was really a shame not to have Tulsi Gabbard on the stage last night. But if you had a whole debate that was focused on that topic, we would learn a lot more about these candidates.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Tulsi was really sorely missed during that entire section. And I also think that in terms of improving it, it's like you said, there's a way in order to do this to extend the amount of time in the discussion. Maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be a standing format, although maybe we're all used to that, but just longer back and forths between the candidates. And I think ideology and visions and policy would actually be more entertaining than you said X 40 years ago. And what does that mean? Do you apologize for that now? Instead, it's you have stood by this policy 40 years ago. Here are some contradictory statements. Where do you stand exactly on that? So I think it does come down much more to the questioning. And also, we got to be a little bit better about spreading the amount of time. And that's why I'm generally against having too many candidates on the stage. I think it should be ruthless in who we cut and how that selection happens and really make it a battle of ideas rather than a battle of polls.
Yeah, Andrew Yang has gotten the short end of the stick on that metric every time, despite the fact that he's been the person who's been, he's successfully climbed down to that 1% arena. Every time he's on the debate stage, people Google him like crazy, trends on Twitter. Like, people clearly want to hear more from him. He has some of the most original ideas, and yet the moderators, because they know he's not going to pick a fight with Biden or whatever, give him very little time.
Yeah, exactly.
My favorite, though, rising Q of all time. I mean, we've been doing this for a now, but this is the greatest question ever from @bgrifter. Why is Pete Buttigieg Saagar? Why is Pete Buttigieg?
You know, I've asked myself this many times. There are a lot of answers.
Problem with on this show, to be honest with you, is why is Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah, well, why? How is it that a man like this comes to be? Is actually a good structural question. If you want to take a meta-analysis, how is it that a rising politician looks at the world and he's like, you know what? I have to engineer this Rhodes Scholar background and move home to South Bend and become mayor and start this dreamy Midwestern campaign. The guy would never even win a statewide race in Indiana. I mean, it is pure just signaling politics to New York City and to San Francisco. If anything, it actually shows you what happens whenever outside money and outside influence from the coast do and how they select people in the middle of the country. That tells you a little bit of something about the elites in the party and their judgment here.
Yeah, he's got so much money, and yet, 4% in the polls, right? Yeah. It's my favorite Andrew Yang tweet. It's all fun and games until Andrew Yang passes you in the polls.
Yeah.
And I think he is the perfect embodiment of, like, the golden child of the meritocracy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just checks every single box. So if you're a person who wants to believe that the American meritocracy is basically sound, we just need to eliminate, some sexism, some racism, some sort of religionism, whatever it is. And then if everyone can just ascend to their rightful place in the meritocracy, it will all be good, because some people deserve to be presidential contenders and billionaires and get all the fruits of everything because that's what they deserve, and other people deserve their place lower down in the meritocracy. That is why Pete Buttigieg, in my opinion.
That is why Pete Buttigieg. All right, Krystal, we miss you. We can't wait to see you back here on Monday. Good luck on Bill Maher, and we'll see you later.